Before we get started on today's show, let me tell you about the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford lunch specials. $4.99, as you know, 2 sides bread, 32-ounce drink, mobile rewards app, Speed Pass Plus app. Many ways to save money when you go to the pump at all Blue Sky locations throughout Mississippi. If you're coming into town on Highway 6, stop in, take advantage of that, take advantage of the Oxford Crystal, and much more, including the bottomless refill. Remember, you go buy the Stadium Cup, 49-cent bottomless refill every time you pass after that with that cup. That's Blue Sky. That's the Oxford Exxon. Also, we're in the Clark Ford studio, 662-257-1900, Highway 25 South there in Amory. You give Corey Clark a call, 15 minutes in business hours. You're going to get a quote. You can shop it around. You can take it. It's going to be the best deal. So when you're finishing up the paperwork and getting the deal done, mention the podcast. $500 more off, courtesy of Clark Ford when you mention the podcast. Now let's go on with the show.
From the Clark Ford studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something that you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome to this Friday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford studio this morning. We'll just kind of talk about whatever today. I don't know, typical Friday podcast. Maybe a touch shorter. I've got to get to Amory for some family stuff today, so we'll get to what we get to as we go through the day. Little bit of news, I guess, to kick us off. This has been known for a while, but it's getting much closer to being official. Calvin Magee going to head to Ole Miss from New Mexico. He's been with Rich Rodriguez at multiple locations, going to coach tight ends here with the Rebels. He's been an offensive coordinator. He's been a running backs coach for most of his career. However, he did play in the NFL as a tight end. He's been a tight ends coach at the top level in the past as well. So Calvin Magee rejoining with Rich Rodriguez and heading to Ole Miss again. Looks like the tight ends coach there.
Yeah, Matt Luke said last night he's the tight ends coach. That's my source.
I mean, I guess that's what you want. I mean, whatever.
That's as good as I've got.
All right, fair enough. So at the moment that completes the staff. However, I expect another change at least. So we're probably not done yet, but we're getting closer. Getting all the spots filled around here these days.
Looks like John Summerall probably staying.
Mm-hmm.
Chip Lindsey got the Troy job, as Jay Tate sort of suspected the other night. And I don't want to make a bigger deal out of this than it is, but kudos to Matt Luke, who, no matter what you think of him as a coach, continues to prove that he's a really good guy. He did the right thing as it pertained to Summerall. I'm sure he was hoping John would stay. One of his better recruiters. Really good coach, excellent communicator, a guy who can articulate thought, a guy who will probably learn a lot and help a lot with Mike McIntyre. But John was in the final two for that Troy job, and Matt did the right thing in trying to help him get that Troy job. So kudos.
Well, we talked about a lot. I mean, Matt, very well respected around the industry. It's those kind of things. It's those kind of things that help you with reputation. It's those kind of things that help you when you're trying to put a staff together. That a coach knows that if he joins your staff, you're not going to go behind his back. You're not going to complicate things. You're not going to try to brick wall him. You're gonna do what's best for his career, because that's why we were talking. I guess a couple of days ago. It was right after the Rich Rodriguez interview, and this is most places, but Matt does this as well. If you move up in the world, no buyout. Not gonna make it complicated from a financial standpoint for another program or anything. If you're a position coach and you can get a coordinator job or a head coach job, no buyout. If you're a coordinator and you can get a head job, no buyout. So they do right by people, and I think over the long haul that does help a good bit. Also, a little clarification. We made this on the message board yesterday. I incorrectly speculated about Rebel Road Trip. We are going to do a Rebel Road Trip. It is going to be around April. I don't know all the locations yet, but I know some of the locations that we mentioned of the town hall meetings not getting to the Rebel Road Trip. We'll get to those. So the the goal for Ole Miss is to kind of knock out business, if you will, and questions with the town hall meetings, and then get into more of the pep rally, the garnering support with Rebel Road Trip in April when that so hits. So just a little clarification there that I was wrong on my speculation. It happens twice a year, so we'll already got it out of the way for 2019, basically. So you can listen now with full confidence in whatever I speculate on the rest of the way. That's the way this works. So. We're January 11th. God forbid, thankfully, we got Neal's birthday out of the way for
Thank
364
God.
more days.
This is fast becoming my favorite day of the year, January the 11th.
So we should celebrate this day if we're going to celebrate one.
Nope.
Sasha brought you a January 11th cupcake this morning.
We should just. It's one of these things. You and I are very different on this.
We are.
If you don't ever stand up for what the hell it is that you want, you will absolutely become just a pushover.
I think there's varying degrees, though. We're not talking about, hey, making some big financial whatever. We're not talking about something that, frankly, has any impact on much of anything. My point was it was such a small hill that I did not really understand dying on it because, frankly, your life probably in a way would have been more pleasant yesterday to just find some middle ground, go along with it, and move on.
But let me make this clear. I'm not saying that I'm anti-birthdays.
But that's not the point. They wanted to celebrate you.
But I don't want to be celebrated. I don't deserve to be celebrated. I don't need to be celebrated. I have done nothing in my life that merits celebration. That is fact.
You have a little bit of a mental issue. I love you, but you've got a little bit of a mental issue.
And I openly admit that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to celebrate it. That celebration to me feels very hollow and stupid and unjustified.
Well, look, Bert,
and so I'm much happier if, and I said this up front, I'm much happier if we just skip it.
I'm not comfortable receiving gifts. That's where you and I have a very similarity there. I'm not comfortable
Especially
getting gifts.
when you're the one paying for the gift.
I don't. Well, there's some truth there too.
Yeah,
but I don't. And it's like a lot of times people expect such a reaction from me. They're like, "Did you not really like it?" I did. I have this inability to just rave.
I understand.
You know what I mean? It's like, "Oh, I really like that." Okay, well,
Right.
take it at face.
Now, I've heard a lot of guys say what I'm about to say and what you kind of just said. If I want something bad enough, I'll go buy it.
Well, that's the other part of this that frankly, my mother and my wife will say is you're incredibly hard to buy for because you just go get it. And yeah, because I also know exactly what I want.
Right, precisely.
So when you buy it and it's a little off, and I go, well, thank you, but that's not what I would have done had I just purchased it myself.
So now you feel bad if you go exchange to get what you really want because now you took the gift back, where you could have skipped all that by just going to get what you really wanted. Like if you say, "Hey, I'm going to get you a sweater for Christmas."
Mm-hmm.
All right, why don't you just say, "Go get yourself a sweater for Christmas and put it in a box," and because I'll know what sweater I want.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess a lot of this stuff is I go into it and I just kind of put both hands out on a scale and I go, "Is this worth creating issues for today?" And a lot of times I go, nah, just whatever, it's fine.
I just kind of know. I just know sometimes.
You drew a line in the sand this time. We've been getting close to this for the last few years, and we finally hit that point at this juncture.
That is true. I finally this year decided that I was not to get political, but I was building a wall.
Okay. It's an Ed Orgeron kind of wall. It's a Memphis wall, not a border wall. It's an Ed Orgeron wall.
We're not shutting anything down. Although yesterday felt
just trying to sign Cassius Vaughn right now. That's all we're trying to do.
Yesterday felt like a shutdown.
Did it really?
Yeah, it got
a little governmental shutdown.
It was a little rough. There was a little Democrat Republican vibe in the House. Mm. There were people that were not happy with me.
So you did zero birthday activities.
I did
nothing.
I did no birthday activities whatsoever. No cards.
There wasn't a bigger piece of chicken. There wasn't a card. There was
in fact,
nothing.
I will take you briefly through my day yesterday. So people that I did a podcast with you.
You did.
We had a delivery at the house that I had to manage.
Heard about it.
Finished that. I had to go to the vet. Had to get dog food and heart. The dogs take their heart medicine on the 10th of every month. Mm-hmm. And after we once in Mobile, both of the dogs got heartworms.
Really?
Yes. We never, ever, ever are even a minute late. on stuff because that is no fun for
Okay.
you or the dog.
Right.
So I did that. I got back. What did I do? I had to have. We were trying to schedule a time to tape Greatest Pod in the South. Jay was driving back, so we were communicating with that. I had some leftover Mexican food from like taco night that was over here when Ole Miss played Auburn. She made tacos and stuff for the kids, and so there was some leftover taco meat. I had that for lunch. I taped Greatest Pod in the South. Went to Oxford High School to get Caroline. I came home. I walked the dogs. I took Carson to his basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
I came home, and that was it. Did not even have dinner. Had some crackers.
All right. I listened to the first about 10 minutes of Greatest Pod in the South while I was running an errand yesterday. That's as far as I've gotten. So basically, I heard about the birthday thing that I already knew. That was the opening to G-Pitch yesterday, and that's how far I've gotten. I'm going to have a little bit of a crossover here. What's your problem with the AirPods?
I don't really have a problem with that. I just don't need them. I don't.
Oh, that's all it is?
Yeah, I use the wire, and it's fine.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the wire's not as complicated as it's made out to be at this point.
I've run marathons with the wire.
See, I can't do that because they won't stay in my ears. Those headphones will not stay in my ear canal at all.
I mean, I've run them, but I've used the special sport.
There's clip things or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it had a wire, and the wire didn't. I've run 4 marathons with the wire dangling.
Well, in some ways, I use it's like the little tube thing goes in the ear, and then it's got like the little hook thing that goes in the crevice of your ear right there. I use those, and they're Bluetooth, but there's the strap around my neck that frankly bothers me even worse sometimes because that strap will irritate the back of your neck, or it'll kind of get lopsided and you'll have to throw it up and flip it back around and things.
Right, especially as you get sweaty and stuff.
It has its own complications.
I've never felt the need for them. I don't have a problem with them at all. I mean, I have no objection to them, but it sounds like something that would be incredibly easy to lose.
That's true. Obviously, you got to keep them charged. Now, there is a certain handiness of not having a wire because I'll wear some type of Bluetooth headphone pretty much all day. Just phone rings, I'll hit the button. Like it allows me to move around without.
Sure.
Because a lot of times, if you're doing some stuff and you got the wire and the phone's in your pocket, you'll jerk the wire out or something sometimes, and it's a little complicated. So I'm just catching up. I saw that was a topic at some point. I was wondering what that was about.
It was one of the more entertaining / bizarre greatest pods in the South.
Well, that's something in and of itself.
Yeah, it was different for sure.
I guess we should at least touch on tomorrow, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. It is a noon tip on CBS. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. At noon on CBS. And for Ole Miss people, I love this term, and people say there's no such thing. We can have this debate if you'd ever like. This is as close to a free shot as a team gets in the course of a season. Now, I know that the rivalry and all that makes it more emotional. I get it. But at 12-2, 2-0, 1-0 on the road, going to play a quadrant 1 team on the road in a loss that will not hurt you at all in the big picture, it is a free shot at a massive win.
Yeah, no one's going to look at this thing later and go, hey, that loss in Starkville, that's the kicker. You're done. Knocking you out.
Remember, it was at 12 or 13 maybe when Andy Kennedy and them, they went over there and lost, and State had an RPI of like 228, and I might be giving State credit here.
Yeah.
It was maybe 258, and they went over there and lost, and it was the bad day. This is not that day. State's net is probably 20-ish right now.
They were ranked 14th prior to the loss to South Carolina.
Okay.
AP poll stuff.
Right. Their net's probably around 20.
Yeah,
it is a.
I'll go to net in a minute actually because that's relevant in a minute.
It is a quadrant 1 opportunity. It is a free shot. It is a free space on the wheel. And I think Ole Miss is dangerous as hell for Mississippi State.
Tennessee and Rick Barnes have to look up, and I know it's just 2 games, but look in the standings and see bizarro world because there are 3 undefeated teams that are 2-0 in the league. Tennessee, Ole Miss, and South Carolina are 2-0 in the league right now after a week.
And if you had that in your pool,
You're a millionaire right now.
And we need to hook up because I'll take you to Vegas and let's get this done. There's not a soul on earth, including Kermit Davis and Frank Martin, who had those three teams at 2-0.
Yeah, hey, Ole Miss and Carolina, you're unbeaten, and Auburn and State, you're winless. That's where we are after.
There was no one on earth, including Kermit and Frank Martin, who had that on their pool.
Ole Miss jumping considerable in net. The last time it was updated on Warren Nolan, I've got the Rebels at 29 this morning.
They're in great shape. Free shot.
Sitting between Villanova and Louisville in the net this morning.
Yeah, you can say what you want about bias and all that stuff. The computer, it's not all that biased. It's just spitting out numbers.
And actually in the net, we were a little wrong here. That loss was pretty painful for Mississippi State. State is 33 in the net as of right now.
But still a quadrant 1 opportunity because it's on the road.
Yeah. And will remain a quadrant 1 opportunity. No problem there. State's
good. Their guards are good. They've got good bigs. This is a veteran team. They've played a lot of games. I'm sure Humphrey Coliseum will be loud. They'll probably promote it as a women's game and pack the place, and then it'll be rowdy. It's a different game than what the State fans like because this one's actually above the rim. It'll be. I expect a hell of an environment, honestly.
Shot.
Oh, shoot. Crazy women's basketball fans crack me up.
Be curious about State's resume at this point. They have one quadrant 1 win. They beat the Dayton Flyers on the road, 65-58. Dayton at 67 in the net, so that still qualifies.
That's their best win.
Yeah. And, well,
because they beat Cincinnati.
It's because it was on the road. Quadrant 2 wins currently. They have a lot of them. They have Cincinnati, Wofford, Clemson, and St. Mary's. They have the loss to Arizona State, which is quadrant 2, and then South Carolina was a quadrant 3 loss on their resume.
Not a beautiful resume.
Just kind of okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Ole Miss has the better resume right now.
Free shot. And so people will say, okay, well, what does free shot mean? All right, well, let's go over the 2 scenarios. A loss, no big deal. Get ready for LSU. Arkansas at home next week.
Just defend home court next week.
Go defend home court next week. A win? And you go in the next week with the chance to really start changing the game. You go in the next week with the chance to really start building some margin for error. You go into next week with an opportunity. You'll be in the rankings. Not that the rankings matter, and they do not matter outside of some pub. And I'm sure you call recruits and go, hey, check out the AP poll. See that spot where it says Mississippi? That's us.
Yeah.
And that would be good. I'm not minimizing that. But now what does it mean for seeding and stuff?
No.
Absolutely zip. But you'd have an opportunity next week with LSU and Arkansas coming to town to
really solidify.
Well, and to change the way people feel about your program because you'd pack that place on Tuesday night. Be a good night for hotels.
Probably going to pack it anyway, but especially with Saturday.
But if you're 3-0, it's a Tuesday night. It's at 8 o'clock. It's a little late, so if you're coming up from Madison or Jackson or something, you got to really want to be there.
It's the kind of the roulette of the 6 versus 8. There's positives to both, but that 8, if you have a kid, the 8 becomes very complicated.
And for the cat who is saying right now, well, then just play the damn game at 7. Yeah, well, there's this thing called TV, and they're paying the bills. ESPN
decides game times. There's a czar somewhere that gets to do this.
You know how you enjoy all the benefits? That's the price.
Well, I mean, it's like I want to go, and I mean, even at 8 o'clock, it was like, well, what are we doing? Babysitter? That's so late. Somebody's got to put the kid in bed. Like, what do we kind of do in here? How are we figuring this out?
And the Arkansas game Saturday is a day game, I think.
I thought it was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a real opportunity. It's a steal. It's a chance to steal one. You get up 3-0 in this deal with 2 home games, and you get to 5-0 in the league. And look, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. But if you were to get to 5-0 in the league, do the math. You'd have 13 games left. Where, quite frankly, 6 and 7 get you in.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
And that's where the margin comes in.
Yeah. Take a break, tell you about the podcast, sponsored in part by Scripted Jewelry, scriptedjewelry.com. Again, just go to the website, check it out for yourself as they celebrate love, family memories, and giving the best gifts. The turnaround times are great. Handcrafted items to order. You put your script on jewelry, you put your fingerprints on jewelry, you make a custom gift for that special person in your life. Got a lot of occasions coming up, birthdays like Mr. McCready over here,
Yeah, boy.
and much more. So take advantage of it. Again, go check it out for yourself. Rebels10 also can be a code. Buy it, get ready to check out, put in Rebels10, REBELS 10, 10% off with Scripted Jewelry. Again, that's scriptedjewelry.com.
The podcast also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. Grenada Nissan, located just off Interstate 55 in Grenada, Mississippi. They have a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Great lease deals as well. If they don't have it in stock, they'll get it in stock for you. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, that's the place to go. GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Podcast also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry's an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market better than Harry. Go to his site, harryalexander.com. You can send him an email, ha@harryalexander.com. Podcast brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. Get in touch with a customer service rep there at OUB. Ask about Kasasa. Ask about their commercial checking account. A lot going on at OUB. Live Oxford, bankoxford.com, 662-234-6668. Also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. We've told you how this works. John's a part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. So call him, give him some parameters, let him know what you're thinking about doing, what you want to do, how long you want to do it. Find out, just let him know kind of what it is that your budget is, and what he'll do is he'll come up with a bunch of options and opportunities for you that you would not find on your own. 901-494-3387, or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off the first book trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
Podcasts are brought to you by Mastercuts Lawn and Landscape, 662-607-7773. They're still telling you about the custom playgrounds that will entertain your kids for years to come, from forts to princess castles to pirate ships. Let Mastercuts build a base for your child's imagination to run wild. Reach out and schedule a free meeting to see what Mastercuts can do for you. 662-607-7773, info@gomastercuts.com, or just get ready to sign the contract to let them take care of your lawn and landscaping all year long.
I just got a text from Gabe DeArmond. There's been a lot of talk about transfer portals. The portal, if you're wondering who from Ole Miss is in the transfer portal,
Sure.
Tony Gray.
We knew that.
Cade Como.
Okay.
Anthony Harris.
Knew that.
And Cam Ordway.
Okay.
They're all in the portal. Doesn't that sound like sort of spacey, like Star Trek?
Is Khalil Tate in the portal?
I can ask. I know that Shane Buechele is.
Apropos of nothing.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to ask her right this moment.
Everybody talking about streaming services and cutting cords and what you get without having cable. I saw this morning in one of the little aggregate email things I get that kind of let me know about the world that IMDb, which is owned by Amazon, is going to start a new streaming service that is going to be free on Kindle Fire and the website and other platforms. So they are going to be completely ad-based, no charge at all for the IMDb streaming of shows and TVs and movies and things.
Good luck with that.
It's almost like Amazon maybe is not, they're printing so much money, they might be just trying to diversify and do something different, even if it takes a little bit of a whatever.
But here's the thing. For people that want to get like ESPN, you're still going to have to pay for ESPN.
Oh, yeah, you still got to pick a service, whether it's ESPN Plus and you just pay for ESPN by itself, or you do like where you got Hulu Live and it comes with ESPN or whatever. Yeah, right. I mean, you can't. It's the people that go, hey, I don't pay for content. Well, you got ESPN, right?
You absolutely pay for content.
Well, yeah, no, but I just pay for cable. Well, yeah, and ESPN is the most expensive channel you pay for.
Yeah, ESPN's part of that bill, champ. They're not itemizing it.
Yeah. They should itemize it.
Absolutely.
Show people what they're paying for things they never watch.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I tell people all the time, you want to get tax reform in our country? Make everyone pay taxes, number one. Even if it's like 10 cents. And make people go pay it. Go actually pay it. Don't let it come out of their checks. Do like people like you and me where we got to go pay it.
You got to stroke that check.
I got to write that check, or I've got to watch it come out of my account.
It's the equivalent of you spend less money if you literally just got every bit of your amount out in cash every month, where you saw bills going for everything you pay for and cash and dollars.
It changed things.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to do it, but I'm admitting that it would change things.
What I'm saying is
I know what you mean. Yeah.
if everybody had to go to the courthouse, for example, and pay their taxes, like literally pay their taxes, we'd have a completely different conversation in our country. There's people, I promise you, who they don't even look at the itemized stuff that comes out of their paycheck. They don't notice it, and that's part of the plan. They just don't think of that as their money. No, that's your money. You earned it.
It's fair.
That's your money that's going. Yeah, but I never had it. Yes, you did.
You had it for just a second.
You absolutely had it for just a second.
It never got to you. It was not tangible, but
it was yours.
Yeah.
People would have a completely different view. This is where I have no political party. Because I'm when it comes to taxes and stuff, I'm pretty far to the right, and then when it comes to the social stuff,
I mean you are a 10 or a 0.
You talk about like the hill to die on, like when the Republicans die on abortion rights and stuff. I'm like, come on, you're not gonna change people's minds on that. Just move on, keep your cash. That's just me.
One more little economic thing from this I'm looking at here.
I have someone
just
inquiring as to Khalil Tate right now.
Okay, just kind of curious.
I am too.
It's where the world in the world we live in, as they say. Seeing this from holiday sales, the brick and mortar stores, Macy's, Kohl's, Target, all seeing really big stock falls, seeing falling short of what they expected from a sales growth thing. However, on the other side, MasterCard had everything up by 5.1% in 2018, their biggest holiday spend in 6 years, and even Adobe with online stuff, 17.8% jumps.
Really?
That gap between brick and mortar and online just keeps growing and keeps growing and keeps growing and keeps growing. The people without really strong online sales are falling off a cliff right now from a stock standpoint.
How much of your Christmas shopping did you do in the store?
10%, 20%.
Yeah.
I mean, a few. I mean, I bought some stuff in stores, but not much at all.
We had agreed we were not going to give each other Christmas presents.
I remember this hill as well.
And because it was like 2018 was an expensive year. And we had agreed no Christmas presents. And on, I guess it was the 23rd, I said, you did not get me anything, correct?
It was the 23rd.
Yes. And I said, you did not get me anything, correct? And she wouldn't answer. And I was like, damn. Because the 23rd was a Sunday.
It was.
And so I had to get up on Christmas Eve and go actually shop.
Well, and I'm kind of scared to say this online on the podcast because I don't want anything to change in the future, but I'm going to anyway. You might throw something at me. You and I both did some shopping on the 24th in Oxford.
Yeah.
There was no one out.
It was
every store was open, and there was no traffic. I mean, I was going to the square, and I was on the phone with a buddy, and he goes, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be terrible. I can't believe I'm doing this." He goes, "No, you're not done the store." I'm like, "No." He goes, "It's empty." I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "There's no one out on the square on Christmas Eve.
I mean, just you and me talking.
Parking's free."
Yeah, just you and me talking. That's the way I'll do that from now on. I'll knock that out.
It was glorious. I went like 3 places in 10 minutes.
I did too.
Boom.
I had like 4 things to do.
Even including Jackson Avenue. You hit Jackson Avenue and the square.
I had to go to the vet. I had a number of things to do and did all of those things in like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I was taking my time. Like at one point I climbed in my car and I was looking for something on Twitter. I think there was something about Bryce Harper that I read whatever. I mean, Oxford was a ghost town, but the places were open. I got everything I needed to get. Grabbed a cup of coffee. It was awesome.
I had to stop in Dollar General for something, and I stood in line at Dollar General longer than I did any of the places or anything on the square that I was doing.
Yeah. I went into Nelson's.
You did?
I went to Canuckin's. Man, I was all over the place, rolling. There was no cars, no traffic.
The Hollywood Feed place.
I went to Hollywood Feed. Had to do
some dog
Santa
stuff
for the dogs. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking to what we're talking about, Shopper Track said observed holiday traffic to physical stores fell 3%. So another 3% off holidays.
But like Carson, Laura basically handled the girls, and I handled Carson because it's just easier that way. And his list was, I did 100% of it online.
100%.
100%. It's just easier.
Yeah, I'd say 80 to 90%. A couple, like maybe 2 items I bought in stores, 3 maybe. I don't know.
Well, had it not been for the Christmas Eve,
you really wouldn't have done anything.
Plans, I would have done none brick and mortar, other than the dogs, and I could have done that online and almost did.
Yeah, I mean, you could have ordered something from PetSmart or somewhere if you felt the need.
Well, yeah, we have that Chewy.com that we use sometimes for like food.
Y'all use that?
They're great. I mean, Hollywood Feed's like, shut up. They're great. You call, you place the order. They ship fast.
It's the thing that I feel bad about at times doing as much as I do, because I mean, it's kind of hills to die on. I won't do any click list or anything because I know the tax revenue is not going local.
Right.
So I won't do it. That's one thing that I will not do is use any of the online stuff from a pickup standpoint. Mm-hmm. Because for anybody that's not thinking, if that is done online, so that is a statewide or a national tax thing, not a local. You have to actually purchase from the store for that to be a Oxford tax revenue, and it's been down recently because of that. So I have been cognizant of that a little bit. But no, I mean, I get.
Doesn't that defeat the purpose of going to the grocery store? Part of going to the grocery store is finding the extra stuff that you did not intend to buy.
Well, see, I'm not bad about that. I stay to a list. I kind of like going. I'll be honest. I kind of like just walking through the aisles and getting what I need and sort of zoning out. I mean, I don't wear headphones like you do, but I'm not necessarily trying to talk to anybody either. I'm just sort of
like listening to a podcast or something. It's usually a very relaxing thing for me.
I'm just kind of hanging out. I don't mind it.
Grocery stores don't bother me.
But no, I mean, I'm not being hyperbolic. I mean, we get 20 packages a month from Amazon minimum, probably.
Well, as the girls get older, we do too.
Because there's a lot of shop and save stuff that they just send on schedules every month that I could get. I could go get, but we don't. I know exactly, like dog food. I know how long it's going to take to run out the bag, and it just comes and it shows up, and I throw it in the big container, and I go on about my day. I mean, paper towels, garbage bags, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That I don't have to think about. It's just going to show up at the door, and I move on with my day.
Yeah.
Convenient.
I get it.
So I'm talking out both sides of my mouth a little bit, but you got to pick your battles.
And then that's that deal where you want to support the local businesses. You do, but you don't want to see them close.
Well, yeah, but
so
I mean,
it's kind of, I don't know.
But some of that stuff's gross. I mean, if I go to Larson's, okay, but otherwise, I mean, it's not like Kroger's gonna fall off because I don't go buy a trash bag at Kroger.
I will do little things like if there's a book that I want to get, instead of buying it online and reading it on my iPad, I will go to Square Books and pay $2 or $3 extra and buy the book.
You can order it online from Square Books.
Yeah, but I like going in and browsing and get the book.
I've done it some for stuff that's not like it's out of stock in the store, but not out of stock, so you can order it online. I'm like, hey, it'll be there in 5 days. Go get it. However you wanna do that with some stuff. Mostly, if you know a book at some point was in off Square Books, but now you can't really locate it. They're pretty good about figuring that out from there.
Yeah, they saved me on Christmas Eve.
Oh, really?
Off Square Books.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you know that the Barefoot Contessa.
Yeah.
On Food Network.
Yeah.
That's like Laura's favorite person, and so I was getting the cookbook for her, and I got to the front, and apparently the Barefoot Contessa has written multiple cookbooks, and I said, "Is this the latest one?" She's like, "I don't know. Let me look." And so if had I gone online, I would have bought the wrong book. But she discovered that I was bringing the wrong book, and she helped me locate the right book.
We hadn't talked about this. Where are you sitting on this Kyler Murray thing?
We talked about it on G-Pits a good bit yesterday. Well, number one, first and foremost, follow your heart. Do what you want to do. It's your life. Number two, he's clearly conflicted. I am concerned for him that this is my concern for Kyler, who seems like a good kid. He just is coming off the emotional high of being the starting quarterback at the University of Oklahoma, which I'm going to guess is a pretty cool thing. That's a storied program. It's a community that is completely centered around OU and OU football. And they had a really good year, and they made it to the national semifinals, and he won the Heisman Trophy, and there was lots of adulation. I'm going to guess that every time he walked on campus, someone said, "Hey, way to go, Kyler," or something along those lines. A lot of selfies, probably, a lot of adulation, which I'm going to guess is intoxicating. I'm going to guess is addictive. Now that that's over, he probably wants to get more of that because that's how drugs sort of work. And I mean this in a nice way. And he looks at going to Oakland, which means he would go to, because we looked this up on the podcast yesterday, it's like going to Vermont or somewhere like that to play A-ball. Ride buses, be one of the dudes, not a whole lot of adulation. Every once in a while, the second graders over there at Visalia Elementary are going to come over and get your autograph, but they don't know who you are from Adam's House Cat. You're just a center fielder trying to work your way up the Oakland A's system. I think he's struggling with it. On the other hand, and I'm running out of hands, how many 5'9" quarterbacks are there in the National Football League?
Yeah, I'm pretty conflicted. The A's knew the risk.
Oh, yeah,
they knew going in what the situation was.
Well, I didn't say the A's. I just talked about Kyler. Yeah.
But now in saying that, he signed a contract.
He did.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know why it bugs me, but it just sort of bugs me. A little bit of me is, hey, he signed the contract. Go do it.
Sure. You said, and they let you go play for a year.
Yeah. Y'all came to a compromise, so honor it.
Yeah.
That's part of my deal a little bit. I have a little bit of.
If I were the A's, I would be pissed.
Well, I mean, I can't imagine some of the phone calls Scott Boras is making right now.
Yeah.
And having to deal with and talk through. And
I question who advises these people. I watched Kyler Murray play this year. He's a great athlete. No one's questioning that.
And see, but some of the point is some teams going to do it just because. Economically, football was probably the right decision.
You really think he's a first-round pick?
Do I think he's good enough?
No. Do you think he goes in the first round?
I think someone would take him in the first round. I do.
Well, if that's true, then he ought to go play football.
More guaranteed money in that than the give or take about $6 million over 4 years.
Absolutely.
From baseball.
No, look, if you can be a first-round pick, I'm concerned for him that when he goes to these visits, say he goes to pick a franchise, any franchise, Cincinnati.
Well, now let's also make clear, he didn't have to bail on baseball today. I mean, this is a very early part of this situation.
But let's say he bails.
Yeah.
And he goes on his visit in March to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Sure.
And they measure him, and they absolutely will. They're going to say, hey, Kyler, don't know how to put this to you nicely, but kind of wondering if you'd strip down to your underwear for us for a minute. We'd like to give you a physical exam. And part of that physical exam is we're going to measure virtually every part of your body, including your height.
Mm-hmm.
And when he comes in at 5'9" and an 8th, and they say, let me measure your hands there, pal. And his hands are just normal. They're going to go, oh, no. How many times has this worked?
Which I fully understand, and then I also kind of scoff at some of the people who go, well, that half inch is a really big deal. And go,
oh, no, I know that. But you know what I'm saying.
No, I get it.
I mean, everybody goes, well, Baker Mayfield.
He has the good and the bad working for him from just perception. It's You drafted a 5'9" quarterback in the first round, you moron, when it doesn't work. And then you've got the Heisman Trophy winner that's running all over the field, and you saw what Deshaun Watson's doing, and I mean, even though it'd be crap, what Lamar Jackson's doing, and all these guys that can run and use their feet a little bit. I mean, hell, Kyle Allen for that, or Josh Allen for that matter.
But he's big and can take.
Oh, I know, yeah, yeah.
Trubisky's big.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield's 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun Watson's 6'4".
Mm-hmm.
These are big-bodied people. I mean, the only short quarterback in the NFL is Breeze, and he's 6 feet.
And don't do that.
And
comparison.
I'm not.
Yeah, no, I mean in general.
And I'm not.
It's like anything. Everybody goes, well, Breeze is whatever. And it's like, well,
no. But Breeze has a historically accurate arm, maybe the single most accurate arm in the history of football.
Percentages would bear that out. He also moves around in the pocket as well as any human on earth and throws on his tiptoes.
And is a really smart human being. And he's a football savant.
Yeah, point being, let's not make that comparison as some...
Right, that's and I wasn't, for the record. I was saying, let's be careful here. Let's compare him to on the other side, how many 5'9" speedsters with elite athleticism become Major League Baseball players? A lot.
Yeah. Well, and the hard part usually is getting drafted that high if you're that short, and he's already gotten that whipped.
His baseball tools are off the chart.
$4.66 million in the pocket.
And if you're Oakland, when you've given him $4.66 million, you are motivated, so motivated to get him to the major leagues that he is going to get every benefit of every doubt along the development chain.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by G&M Pharmacy. Don't waste your time with the big chains. Go somewhere you're appreciated. G&M's locally owned and operated, and they care about their customers. They've been Oxford's trusted hometown pharmacy for 40 years and offer many great services such as MedSync, immunizations, free delivery to your home or workplace. They're located right there off South Lamar Boulevard. Transferring your medications is simple. I have done it, and you can too, just by calling 662-236-2222, and they'll take care of the rest.
Podcast also brought to you by the Westin Jackson. Check out Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro, sip on a creative craft cocktail, or enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's mission is to connect guests with the community through local partnerships, so gather at Estelle tonight. Podcast also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust, based in Madison, Mississippi, represents clients in 24 states, has advisors in 3. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. Regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan. They'll build a box just for you. To learn more about Pinnacle Trust, go to pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee. And step into the new year in style. Go to deadsoxy.com. Enter the code Rebel Grove at checkout to receive 25% off all orders, including sale items. You really need to experience the difference a quality sock makes. This is the first step in dressing for the job you want, not the job you have. So go to deadsoxy.com. Enter promo code Rebel Grove at checkout for 25% off all orders at Dead Soxy. We're also brought to you by Home 2 Suites Oxford. It's open now and ready to accommodate you in 2019. If you're coming to Oxford for Ole Miss Hoops at the Pavilion, or if you're coming in pretty soon here for Pop-Up Oxford, that's January the 19th through 26th, Home 2 Suites is the place to go. It's conveniently located 1 mile from campus, just off the Old Taylor Road exit. They're offering a 20% discounted rate the entire week of Pop-Up Oxford. You have to call the front desk to receive that discount when booking. So be sure to follow them on social media because it's coming up pretty soon, their announcement of when football weekend reservations will open at Home 2 Suites in Oxford.
Speaking of Pop-Up Oxford, again, the January 19th through 27th, the full dates. Got everything from basketball to songwriter competitions, MLK Service Day, letters for community reading, and much, much more. We've been telling you about the January 26th game against Iowa State. It's also when the baseball team will be able to be met at the Pavilion, the Oxford Art Crawl, the Bitters and Bites cocktail class, which I did sign up for yesterday, and more. So check that out. Full calendar of events, popupoxfordms.com, or just what's going on in Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com/events. All right, let's see. You got a playoff starting tomorrow. I know you're going to be obviously dealing with the Ole Miss game tomorrow, but from an interest level standpoint, you kind of seem to be more on the Colts game than anything else.
No, I'm interested in a bunch of them. But yeah, Colts Chiefs is fascinating to me because the Chiefs have this. Their fan base, at least, is petrified, terrified that their soul's going to be crushed. The Colts feel like they're sort of playing with house money, and if you go look at Andrew Luck the last few weeks, he's playing at a really elite level. Luck, Mahomes in a playoff game, there's a chance it's a real treat. Cowboys-Rams doesn't feel like that good of a game to me. Feels like a game the Rams win easily. I don't know why. Some stranger will go stand on the sideline next to Sean McVay and be an NFL coach by the end of the week. And then on Sunday, the early game is fascinating to me. Chargers-Patriots. You won't be able to enjoy it because your stomach will be in knots.
I'm so mad about having the last game of the weekend. It's driving me insane, frankly. I was begging. I mean, we always talked about this. I was begging on the schedule to be the second game. The night game on Saturday was what I wanted.
Yeah. Well, I get it.
That was the slot.
But Chargers-Patriots is fascinating, man, on so many levels because I think the Chargers are the better team, but the Patriots don't lose at home in this round.
That's a fascinating game. I was listening to Adam Carolla yesterday, and he had RJ Bell on from pregame.com. We used to speak with David Malinsky, rest in peace, that was with RJ. And he was talking about how he was most interested in the Patriots game because what you're talking about, because you've got a coach that from a Vegas level adds points to their team in Belichick. On the other side, a coach that is a negative coach from a wins-loss standpoint. And he was talking about if you really wanted to bet the Patriots' money line, because you felt like Belichick was going to win more close games than lose more close games, and the Chargers are going to lose more close games than win close games. However, he also made the point, I found this part interesting. The Patriots have been great at home. I think Jeffrey said they were 8-0 yesterday.
They're 8-0, I think.
The Chargers, because of having the worst home field in the NFL, because they play at Soccer Stadium and the whole deal in L.A., you can make the argument that they're actually one of the couple best road teams in the NFL because every game's a road game. They've played well on the road, and at home they have the minimal amount of home support to push it that direction. So he was most kind of fascinated in that game. His lock of the week, however, was he liked the Colts on Saturday, I believe, was the game he liked.
I tell you what, I was sitting in Houston last week. Not Houston.
Colts are 10-1. In the last 11. And his point was, we always talk about the full season record, but why? Let's just pick the streak here. And if it's
the regular season, we do streaks.
If it's just 11 weeks, the Colts will be the number one seed in the NFL right now.
That's a good point. Hard to argue. You and I talked about this middle of the year. I said, hey, are you watching the Colts?
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, no, not really, because they didn't jive. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of started to watch them, and Luck's really good right now. And he kind of kept getting better. I will say that for me, the lock of the week, I don't know about the points, but the Saints' money line. I think the Saints are going to win the game.
And now that money line would be really expensive, so it probably wouldn't be worth a bet because they're an 8-point favorite.
It'd be a bad bet, but in terms of a safe bet, it's like putting your money in a 2% savings account.
I'm in my head. I can't get there.
Now, Philly's played really well of late, so they'll be they're on a streak too.
I wanted Dallas.
Sure, I would have too.
But I wanted the Bears gone, so it was catch-22 there. You had to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, you got one of your wishes. I would have really enjoyed tomorrow night. I was looking forward.
Bears-Rams.
I was looking forward to free shot. Let's go see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Rivers is playing better than Brady right now.
He is.
But this is Phillip Rivers. This is his maybe last best shot at getting to a Super Bowl.
You, by proxy of Mike Detillier, is sitting really well from Super Bowl picks right now. Chargers and Saints.
I got a hell of a shot at nailing this puppy.
Because, I mean, had Patrick Mahomes just been sort of mortal all year, the Chargers would have been the number 1 seed.
Yeah. Chargers won in Kansas City.
Yeah.
A San Diego-Kansas City rematch for the AFC title.
Would be good TV.
I'd watch. I'd watch Colts-Patriots, too.
This is not a jinx because I fully expect the Saints to lose on Sunday, but just from logic, it feels like we're headed towards a fairly entertaining game, in my opinion. I think we're getting Chargers-Colts next weekend. I think we're getting Saints-Rams and Chargers-Colts.
And if we get that, quite frankly, we all have to sort of tip our hats to the football gods because we get 2 really fascinating games.
Yeah.
I can't tell you if you haven't
the
been
2
watching.
wildcard teams playing each other in the conference championship in the AFC, should that come to fruition, the 5 seed and the 6 seed.
If you watched Colts Texans,
So you have an AFC title game in front of like 22,000 people or whatever that soccer stadium holds. And that's the late game. I did see where if the championship game, NFC's the early game in the conference championships. Yeah, I mean it's that full playoff thing. I mean I'm a year since my whole debacle with the Vikings. Like scar tissue just starting to harden a little bit and get there. And I mean I don't handle this well. I mean Dylan always makes the joke, but there is some semblance of understanding to it in the leading up to it. Those 79 seasons are a whole lot more comfortable when you get to this point of the of the playoffs.
Oh sure.
Because I mean, dealing with stuff like my Kara, yesterday she's like, "Hey, let's go somewhere and watch the Saints game Sunday," and I'm like, "You don't understand." She's like, "It'll be fun." I'm like, "It will not be fun.
No, it won't be fun.
It won't be fun at all." She's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, she goes, "It'll be on." I'm like, "No, I get." I have to move. I have to yell. I have to be fidgety. I can't just sit at a bar and carry on a conversation with everyone like there's just a game on in the background. There's not just a game going on in the background.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, last year I had people peer pressure me into going out for the wild card round last year when they played the Panthers. And I stayed out for a half and then left at halftime and went home to watch the second half. And, I mean, Cam had a ball into the end zone to win the game on the last play last year. So, yeah, there's no way I can deal with a playoff fourth quarter out in public. No. I've done that a couple times and been miserable.
And see, you're standing up for yourself. You're saying, no, why don't you go to the bar?
Have fun. Frankly, do that. Leave me alone and like for the next 3.5 hours.
That's all I ask.
Yeah, because it's like that bartering system. It's like, look, when it's over, I'll take you to dinner anywhere you want. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, unless they lose, at which point.
Well, see, that's what we were in Hot Springs last year during that Vikings thing, and I had gone back to the hotel room to watch the end of the game, and like I said, she was like getting ready, going, "Oh, well, the Saints came back. They're going to win. This is going to be good," or whatever. And then I like let out that whimper when the thing happened, and she heard it, and she goes, "What happened?" And I just stood there, and she kind of looked at the TV, and she just kind of looked at me, and she goes, "Are we still going to dinner?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I need a minute. Just stop for a minute. Stop talking. Just stop for a minute."
Yeah, but you're invested in it, so you've got to put your foot down and go. Give me this. I'm asking for 3.5 hours this week. Right here, right there. I need that time.
Yeah, I've watched 2 Saints games at bars in the entirety. I believe you were around for one of them, Saints-Seahawks, when the Seahawks beat them in Seattle. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings because Jeffrey had some weird bet that I videoed him because it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then the one that was the most miserable I've told the story of all time was the Saints, frankly, missing another Super Bowl win because they lost in San Francisco in that nail-biter a few years ago when Vernon Davis caught 12 touchdown passes, and I'm surrounded by all these people that just have Patrick Willis jerseys on, and it is driving me insane in the middle of the bar because everybody's 49ers fans all of a sudden, and it's like...
Well, they do the college thing because...
It's like you're from Dothan, Alabama. Stop. Like, right. What are you doing?
Unless you can document that you've been a 49er fan your whole life for whatever reason.
Yeah, I'm going to need a picture of you with Roger Craig before we have this conversation right now. That's the rule. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just...
If you're a Giants fan when Eli's the quarterback but not before and not after, then you're not really a Giants fan.
You have no ability to talk trash to me or make a sound right now.
No.
None. That's the rule. I don't know. I mean...
I think
New money Saints fans drive me insane.
Oh, listen.
The Saints, like Matt Sharp yesterday on Twitter's going, hey, have you noticed this? Like, all the Saints fans are cocky on Twitter. I'm like, no. That's the new money Saints fans that are cocky on Twitter. A, don't judge anything off Twitter, ever. And B, that's the guys that didn't deal with all the stuff here. They weren't watching that Chicago game in 2006 when we all wanted to put guns in our mouth. Like, and we hadn't been around for that at this point. So
that's what I've told you. I mean, I'll cheer for the Saints on Sunday, but I'll feel guilty about it again. I grew up in Louisiana, and they were too bad to cheer for. I had already adopted a loser. I couldn't adopt another. I think we're getting Saints-Rams. It's looked like Saints-Rams for months, and it's probably going to be Saints-Rams. And
it has its own complications to it.
And when you're nervous about that one, you should be, because it could go either way.
Yeah, look, I'll be nervous. I do hope that's the game I want, because in all seriousness, I mean, I know how much Dylan takes it to. Like, one of us will get the Super Bowl game. So if I'm going to lose to somebody, lose to the Rams. I will be happy if the Rams win on Saturday night to at least give the potential to set up that situation. Yeah. Also, I think the Rams are a great matchup against the Eagles, too. So I think the Rams would be the Eagles should the Eagles pull off a miracle on Sunday.
Yeah, I as good as the Eagles have been down the stretch.
It feels like Cinderella's losing her shoe.
Yeah, that's Sunday. What I think, too.
I mean, if I was just an NFL fan and not a Saints fan and whatever, I would feel – going into that game, I would go, oh, the Saints are going to put this thing together. It's like I mentioned with Jeffrey, it's the Saints were so bad at the end of 2009, and Sean Payton kept telling everybody, hey, it's fine, just chill, we'll whatever. And you had the game where I think Reggie Bush came out with the bat, and they beat the Cardinals scored on like the first play of the game. They went up 7-0, and I think the Saints won that game 45-14 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was a rout. And then, I mean, I had 8 different cardiac episodes against the Vikings the next week with Brett Favre.
That was, to this day, one of the most classic playoff games I've ever watched.
Vikings screwed it up.
They should have won.
It was there. He doesn't throw that pick, and they kick the field goal and win the game.
The playoffs are such a crapshoot.
The play that I remember of all for that game was in the overtime period. Saints are driving down to set up Hartley's kick, and Pierre Thomas tries to get that extra yard, and the ball shifts in his hands. He's jumping over the pile, and a Viking puts his helmet on the ball, and the ball comes out of his hands and kind of sits there, and he grabs it again while jumping over the line. And I thought, and then he gets it and falls it. Yeah, and it was whatever. But, yeah. They're fun, but they're a little stressful, too. We'll continue in a second. First, today the podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Citto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting that understands your market, a leader in condo financing, and the float-down option, which allows you to lock in the current rate. But if rates go down before you close, you get that lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE, JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
The podcast is also, I should just tell you this. Ole Miss baseball season tickets are right around the corner. This ad sort of changes as the week progresses because games get played. Ole Miss baseball season tickets right around the corner. You can buy season tickets now at $150 to purchase. Go to OleMissTix.com. Ole Miss men's basketball back in town on Tuesday against LSU. Tickets available at OleMissTix.com, and I would suggest that you jump on those pretty quickly, because I won't be surprised if most of those are sort of out of inventory by early in the week. Guests have joined us throughout the week, and they'll join us next week on the Patterson and Earhart Hotline. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law, specialize in personal injury law and real estate law, but theirs is a general practice that can handle any of your legal needs. When you contact Patterson and Earhart, you speak to one of the partners in the firm. It will handle your case, not some paralegal at a faceless corporate firm. If Patterson and Earhart can't help you, they'll refer you to someone who can. John Calvin Patterson and Wes Earhart are Ole Miss guys. They're local guys, and when you call them, you're going to get one of them on the phone within the same day, guaranteed. So whether you've been injured in a car wreck or have other legal issues, give them a call, 662-526-1992, or check out their website, pelaws.com. Your initial consultation is free.
saw where, coming from Darren Ravel, that Bud Light is the first American beer to put the nutritional information on the side of the can today.
Really?
Yeah. A little fun fact for you there.
You're not a beer person at all.
Not even a little bit. I mean, I will drink it if
Yeah.
it's just sure, but no, not. If there's, I mean, basically any other alcoholic option, it's a no. But the side of the Bud Light can, ingredients: water, barley, rice, and hops. 110 calories for your 12-ounce can. 0.9 grams of protein. 6.6 grams of carbs. That's 2% of your daily intake, and no sugar. So that is the side of the Bud Light can there.
Barley, hops, and water, baby.
And rice.
And rice.
So thought everybody would enjoy hearing that.
I like Bud Light okay.
Is that the when they give you the choice of the three domestics, is that the one you grab? Like if they have Miller, Bud, and Coors in a container, what do you get?
Typically buy Coors, and I don't know why.
You don't really have a reason for it?
Not really. I very rarely buy one.
Tapping the Rockies and whatnot.
Yeah, the only time that I really like one of those kind of beers is right after I've been doing the yard or something. If it's super hot, that beer tastes good then. Really, I don't really like it.
That is a very backhanded compliment you're giving the domestic beer there. You don't seem to be as much into it as you used to be.
No,
You used to be really into the craft stuff, and you've kind of gotten out of that.
Yeah, I'll have a beer. I like Bell's Two-Hearted Ale. I'll have one of those.
Is it just because you replaced it with cocktails and stuff now?
Yeah, probably.
Is that the reasoning?
I think beer makes me feel fuller.
You couldn't even get a win from your Thunder last night on your birthday, could you?
No, I'm
Double overtime loss to the Spurs.
Glad I didn't stay up to watch that.
You went to bed on it?
Oh yeah, I went to bed before it started.
That was a late game.
It was an 8:30 game, so I didn't even watch it. I knew I didn't want to get into it. I went to bed about 9:15, 9:20. I was exhausted.
On this date in '87 was the drive for John Elway.
Oh, at Cleveland.
Against Cleveland. Yeah.
I remember that. I was 17 years old.
He 98-yard drive led by John Elway. The Broncos tied the AFC title game against the Browns with 37 seconds left in regulation, and they would win in overtime with a field goal and advance to a Super Bowl that they then lost. So that was just a little fun fact for you there as we move on. Speaking of that Kyler Murray situation, really good story on ESPN.com today. MLB or NFL, inside the toughest decision Kyler Murray will ever make. It was co-written by, had it up, the other name, Pat McManaman and Jeff Passan, who's now an ESPN employee. Huge get there for ESPN. Passan's tremendous when it comes to baseball.
He's great.
So a little co-byline there from Passan and the other guy. Sorry, but that's...
The fact that he's even thinking about it tells me that he knows what he wants to do.
He wants to play football.
He wants to play football.
Yeah, bottom line, he wants to play football. That's where this is.
At which point, if I'm him, I play football. You got one life. Do what you want to do. Because here's the reality about Kyler Murray and all these great athletes. When they're 50 years old, or when they're my age, when they're not playing ball anymore, there's no adulation. I'm going to the Cubs convention next weekend. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Guy like Derek Lee will be there. Okay? Derek Lee, 20 years before, well, not 20 even, 15 years ago, was a superstar. Now he's just a dude who used to play.
How many of those guys show up for these things?
A lot.
Do they?
Yeah. And it's cool. But my point is, you have one shot at it. Do it your way. Go play the sport you want to play. And if it doesn't work out, you can put your head on the pillow at night and go, I did what I wanted to do. If you want, I mean, what's the smarter move? I don't know. I don't know what kind of bat he has, all that stuff. I mean, if you can play 15 years in the major leagues, yeah, you're going to make more money in baseball than you're going to make in football, unless you become an elite quarterback. But do what you want to do. It's your dream. Do what you want to do. It's what I tell Jerry and Ely. What do you want to do?
Zambrano show up at these things?
He was there last year.
Was he?
Yeah.
third baseman for years. Help me. Aramis.
Oh, Ramos Ramirez?
Yeah,
he was
C-Show.
not there last year, but he might be. I don't know. I know Rizzo's not going to be there this year because he's on his honeymoon. Yeah.
Poor scheduling on his part is the way I see that. But
Probably smart scheduling on his part. Avoid all the fans and just go stay in the sun.
gives you a really good excuse, too, where
Yeah.
it's nobody's going to say anything to you. Or
And you realistically can only play that.
I bet they get thumbed on a little bit to go at times.
Probably. And he's always been great about doing stuff like that, so I'm sure no one cares. I'm just still hoping Bryce Harper shows up.
Yeah,
But it's not looking good.
Might be where they make the announcement. He just walks. Theo goes, "Hey, everybody to the back of the room."
Did you see Rosenthal's
No.
deal yesterday where he says that the front office wants to make a run at Harper, but management won't sign off? Good luck when they introduce management on Friday night. Ooh. Ownership, I should say.
Yeah, because you're saying this place gets a little high strung.
Well, when you didn't win last year and the Cardinals have improved, they made the Goldschmidt trade, signed Andrew Miller. The Brewers just got Yasmani Grandal on a one-year deal for, a deal that made them better.
Mm-hmm.
And you've not done anything in the offseason, and you've raised ticket prices, and here's this generational talent that is very good friends with your star third baseman, and you're not going after him because ownership's not willing to spend, probably not going to go over well. And the whole thing with Cub fans, it's funny. We always talked about this years ago. Once you win one, yeah, you're happy for about a year, and then you're ready to win two. You got a Saints Super Bowl, you won another one.
The honeymoon lasts
One season.
I mean,
One
you think
season.
it's that low?
The Cubs won in 16. The day that the Cubs lost to the Dodgers in 17, I got over it before the pitch was done. I was fine. This last year,
I guess that's fair because the 49ers deal was really tough a few years ago when that happened. And that would have been 11, I think, 12, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And, oh, man.
but the year after when the Saints did win the Super Bowl, you were okay. You were even happy for the new guy. Good for you guys.
Yeah, I think the whole year you're going, hey, just don't let it be the Falcons. Just don't let it be the Falcons. Just don't let it be the Falcons.
Yeah, had the Cardinals won the next year, I'd have been pissy. But it was the Astros. I'm like, that's fine. Congratulations, Houston. Last year, I wasn't quite that sentimental about it. And now, I'll be a little pissy. I'm ready for them to win again. Or at least appear to try to win again.
The year after the Saints won it, the Packers won. Nah.
Yeah, see, you were fine.
Yeah, I don't even remember it.
You're like, how about that? Isn't that good for that Aaron Rodgers? Seems like a nice guy. Hates his family, but nice guy. You didn't care. You lost no sleep over the fact that the Saints didn't repeat.
Oh, no.
You
no,
were
no,
still,
no, no.
but you were still buzzing. Then it starts to change.
Then,
Yeah,
a little different.
yeah. The honeymoon lasts a year, a full year. You're fine. You think if the Red Sox don't win next year, that fans are going to be all worked up? Nah, they'll get over it.
The next year, the Saints did get in. They were a wild card, and it was actually the game we're talking about because it wasn't that big of a deal because I was laughing at Jeffrey even. The Saints lost the first-round game at Seattle.
Yeah.
It was the whole time we were making fun of the whole. That was when the loud thing was so in vogue for
Right.
that it was loud in Seattle, and that was the joke. But
Yeah. But you didn't care.
it's 41-36.
Yeah, you
Seattle
cheered,
won.
But when it ended, it was like, we're still the champs.
I take that back. I might be wrong. I think I'm wrong on the years. Was that stupid year where the Seahawks won at 7-9? See, then I was pissed because of the way it
The
went
Saints
down.
were a wild card.
Yeah,
And they had to go over there and play.
Never mind. I was mad that year because it was that year. It was not the one where the Saints lost in Seattle. It was just not a big deal. I take that back. I was actually quite annoyed that day.
Well, when the Cubs lost to the Dodgers in the NLCS, the whole time I was fine. Whole time. I was like, well, they're better. We're tired. We'll be back. Kind of ready to get back.
It's there now.
Yep.
It's fair. Yeah, 7-9. So never mind. I was irritated for other reasons that year. All right, podcast on Monday. Ole Miss and State from Starkville, Humphrey Coliseum tomorrow at noon, and full NFL playoff slate. So we'll dissect it all on Monday. My mood will be a 10 or a 0 on Monday morning. So we'll knock that out because that will only be.
My mood will be a solid 6.
See, that'll be 14, 15 hours only after the game ends. By the time that point, there will not be a lot of recovery time by that point. So. See you on Monday morning. Check rebelgrove.com. Plenty of content. We'll talk to you then.